Normally, I prefer to focus on solutions. If you listen to the average parenting expert, all you'll hear is what's going wrong, talking about what's upside down, all of the harms, and there are many, and they're the result of a drastic decline in good parenting. Talking about what's gone wrong is easy. Yes, I've mentioned in previous videos about the increase in mental health issues with our kids over the last few generations. Increases in anxiety, depression, suicide. The increased use of alcohol and drugs to numb those feelings that far too many of the last few generations are suffering from. Talking about that stuff is easy. What's difficult is coming up with solutions to those seemingly ever-increasing problems today's generations are facing. So, normally I spend the majority of my time talking about solutions. How today's parents can help their kids avoid those negative consequences of bad parenting. And I'll make my opinion here very clear. Those negative consequences are mostly the result of poor parenting. If you properly prepare your kids for the challenges they will face as adults, the likelihood of them being damaged by those challenges will drastically decline. So, again, generally, I'm all about solutions. Until today, until this video, I want to talk about something that has already taken root in the U.S., and I believe it poses the biggest threat to kids that any generation has ever faced while growing up. And that threat is artificial intelligence. AI therapy for kids disguised as friendship. Now, the first thing I want to do is carve out the area of artificial intelligence I'm talking about in this video. AI is going to have an impact. It's going to have an impact on all kinds of things in our lives: healthcare, finance, education, customer service. Those are a few of the initial areas where AI will have a big impact, and I believe a much more positive impact than negative. And all of those seem, at least to me, where AI will be beneficial. In this video, when I talk about AI, I'm referring to AI as a pseudo-friend, simulated companionship for emotional support for kids. Artificial intelligence will probably impact all kinds of aspects of our lives in the future. But my focus here is on our children using AI to supersede or replace human relationships. And I have a big problem with that. I think you should too. Let's start out with the first issue you need to understand, probably already do. The online world, specifically social media, is highly addictive. And it was designed that way. I've included several links in the description of this video to articles about this stuff. I think you ought to take a few minutes and read those. The founders, the original designers of Facebook, actually admitted that they designed Facebook to be addictive. The founders of Instagram and Twitter, they didn't come right out and say they designed those platforms to be addictive, but they admitted that they designed them to maximize user engagement. Those are fancy words to describe addictive behavior without using the word addictive. And as a result of those purposeful design characteristics, social media platforms have successfully achieved fully addictive status. So, what happened? Of course, as was planned, our kids became addicted to those platforms. The horrors that have resulted from those drugs, and I think it's absolutely appropriate to refer to social media as a drug, the result, as you all understand, an unconscionable number of our children have been damaged by their consumption of those drugs, social media addiction. Now, if you don't see that as scary enough, try this one on for size. Those same companies that purposefully designed those addictive platforms are now investing billions with a B, to create AI friends for our children to address their anxiety, loneliness, and ultimately the depression caused by their use of addictive social media. According to a Google search I recently did, Meta, Amazon, Alphabet, and Microsoft intend to invest as much as $320 billion this year alone into artificial intelligence technologies. For-profit companies don't make investments like that without a solid belief that those investments will pay off. And one of the ways to make a profit off all that invested money is to get millions of subscribers paying a monthly fee to access their AI friend, therapist. Now, think about that. First, the companies create an addictive drug and get millions of kids hooked on those drugs. And then, those same companies are going to come to their rescue by offering, that is, selling, those addicted kids what is basically AI therapy. That's the exact model used by drug dealers since the invention of drug dealers. Give away your product for free, get your users hooked on your drugs, and then charge them for that drug going forward. The only twist here is that they're not charging you for the drug itself, social media. They're charging you for the antidote, AI therapy. It's the same manipulative model, but with a new product. Unfortunately, the only real cure for addiction is 100% stopping the use of that drug. And our tech companies have zero desire for you to stop using their drugs, social media. They only want to help you manage that addiction through a paid monthly subscription. Now, if that's not insidious enough for you, let me talk about what I believe to be the truly evil thing about what these companies are doing. You'll rarely hear anyone from those tech industries, any of those companies, call this AI therapy. And there's a good reason for that. Real therapists have to be licensed, but monthly subscriptions to an AI service, an AI best friend to listen to and help your child cope with the challenges of childhood, that's not therapy. That's just an AI buddy. Now, let me take a step aside for a second here. Like so many new technologies, there are some good things to come from those advancements, as well as some bad things. The question is, will there be more good than bad, or more bad than good? Here's what I think will definitely be a good thing. Having access to an AI friend could be incredibly beneficial for senior citizens. In the U.S., we don't have a great track record over the past 40, 50 years of caring for our seniors. So many of them are ignored, and as a result, they're lonely. And having an AI friend to talk to, I see that as a potential huge win for the elderly. Another group that could benefit are those people that are housebound, individuals that can't leave their home for whatever reason. Some people have physical reasons they can't easily leave their home, chronic illness, mobility issues, long-term injury and recovery. Some have mental health issues, agoraphobia, severe anxiety, depression, dementia. Sometimes it's conscious and purposeful social isolation. No one in their family lives near them. It could be something as simple as a lack of transportation. Those people could realize an enormous benefit from an AI friend. AI could literally be a lifesaver for certain groups of people that need some form of social interaction for their mental health. I see all kinds of potential benefits of having an AI friend for certain groups. But I believe, and there are all kinds of people right now trying to ring the warning bell about this stuff, about the negative aspects of an AI friend when it comes to our kids. One of the first problems with the use of AI as your child's new best friend, will you even know that it's happening? If you keep up with the news, you probably know that many schools are actively trying to help their students, kids I'm talking about, hide things from their parents. I've attached an article talking about that very subject. It's scary stuff for parents. I believe wholeheartedly that a child living in your household has no privacy, zero. Now, I know there are many parents that disagree with that concept, but I believe it 100%. One parent may keep some specific secret between them and their child without the other parent knowing, and I really don't have a problem with that. I'm sure you could come up with something that shall remain private between a child and one of the parents. But a child keeping secrets from both parents, that's dangerous. One of the rules when my son got a cell phone is that my wife had to know his password and have access to his phone. If she couldn't grab it at any time and see everything on it, then the phone would be taken away. Now, I know she found texts and pics and stuff on that phone that she dealt with and kept just between the two of them. I stayed out of it. She handled that, and I trusted her absolutely to deal with those things. But a child having a cell phone or a computer that isn't accessible at any time, that was not acceptable in our house. It really shouldn't be acceptable in yours, but that's your decision. I always told my son that he could have all the privacy he wanted when he wasn't a member of our household. Now that he's in college, my wife gets visibly anxious, even upset at times, because she's not able to see his stuff. She doesn't know what's going on. But as a cadet at the Air Force Academy, he has no tuition. We don't pay his bills. He earns his own money, and obviously he doesn't live with us. As a result, we have no right to his personal business. If he wants to share something with us, great. We can ask him any question we want, but it's at his discretion whether or not he answers. What extent of the conversations between you and your child, and between actually your child and the new AI best friend, are you going to see? Are you even going to be aware of? If the answer to that isn't 100%, then I recommend you seriously consider that tool and whether it should be allowed in your home. Ultimately, AI is programmed by us, adults. Is their new AI friend going to push an agenda, influence them to hate thing one but love thing two? There have already been several examples of some AI systems out there pushing things like Chinese propaganda. What about your child choosing to avoid real human interaction because their new AI best friend is so much easier to talk to, so much more agreeable and pleasant to deal with than an actual person? Do you want to risk turning around one day and realizing your son or daughter no longer has any real human companionship in their life? No friends. Replaced all of it with AI. I keep using the term AI friend, but think about what that relationship will actually be. Your son or daughter has someone, something available at any time to listen to their problems, their concerns, issues in their life. And that someone, something, is programmed to listen, to give advice, offer thoughts and opinions on how to deal with those problems. A kid talking to another kid about that stuff, that's normal behavior. A kid talking to an AI friend about that stuff, a system developed, programmed by adults, that's a therapist. Don't buy into the lie when the tech companies tell you that an AI friend can be a great way to help your child deal with life, with the challenges of childhood. These are adult systems. For all intents and purposes, these are adults talking to your son or daughter for the low, low price of $9.99 a month. What are they talking about? Are their interests, beliefs, and moral compass aligned with yours, the parents? Who knows? For the group I'm talking about, children, the danger of AI therapy for kids far outweighs the potential benefits. I hope I'm proven wrong. But until then, my advice is this: keep your kids as far away from this technology as possible. Don't let big tech turn your child into a guinea pig for their profit machine. Our kids' well-being is not a monthly subscription. Raising independent, confident, good decision maker is a hands-on job that requires a parent's full, dedicated involvement. It's not a hands-off approach. An ICD adult is crafted over many years with focus, dedication, and deep parental involvement. Real strength is developed, and parents are best suited to be the ones to develop strong kids. Thanks for listening.